Hi everyone, my name is Steph, this is the Novelty Corner and welcome back to my channel. Today I am going to be talking about my third quarter stats for 2024. So I have only really done these this year, mostly because I don't think numbers are really that important to anyone else except the person who is collecting stats, but people seem to like it, and we'll see how we go. We're going to just do 4 of these throughout this year and see where we land. If you haven't seen one of these videos before, I will leave the previous 2 videos linked on the screen. I talk a little bit more about why I'm collecting these stats and how I'm collecting them and all of that. I'm not going to go into so much detail in this video except to say that my reading is my own. I read a lot, and that's because this year I am not only tracking my personal reading, I'm also tracking the reading that I do for work, which includes a lot of picture books. In previous years, I've not included picture books in these stats, and they account for a significant portion of the books read. The other thing that I'm going to preface, and I've said this so many times, again, these numbers are my numbers, they are not your numbers. You can read as many books as you like, whether it's 5 books, 10 books, 200 books, 500 books, whatever. Wherever you sit in there, that's your reading. This is my reading. So if you're going to have an issue with these stats, this is not the video for you to watch. Just enjoy your life, and you do not need to know about these. These are for the people who are just deeply interested and who know what I'm like as a reader. To kick it off, I'm going to give you the first stat because this stat is a stat, but it doesn't affect anything else that I'm going to talk about in this video, and that is my DNF. So far this year I have DNF'd 69 books. My DNFs are counted on a separate spreadsheet, so they do not affect any other statistic that I collect. So whether I got a chapter in, a page in, or 50% of the way into the book, I don't count these in my page count numbers. I don't count them in any of my other stats. So just keep that in mind. So in terms of the total books that I've read since from January to the end of September, I've read 627 books, and that's a total page count of 122,377 pages. Clearly, I can't read the numbers that I write down. So it is a total page count of 122,327 pages. Of those books, 65 have been rereads. In terms of the actual format of which I've read these books, 321 have been physical books, 214 have been ebooks, and 72 have been either audiobooks or immersive reads where I'm listening to the audiobook and either the physical book or the ebook. I count the immersive reads under the audiobook title because there is an audio component, and it's easier than working out which ones also then count in the physical and the ebook category. For the readership categories, I have read 159 kids books. So kids books typically are picture books. Occasionally there's another title in there that falls under that. That might be like a junior fiction title that's really on the junior fiction end, but for the most part, it's 159 picture books, 56 middle grade books, 24 young adult books, and 385 adult titles. In terms of diversity and how I'm reading, I track queer, BIPOC, ATSI, and chronic illness or disability representation in books. Again, all of these numbers are numbers that I would like to increase, but as of the end of September, they sit at 167 queer titles, 144 BIPOC titles, and 32 ATSI titles. And ATSI stands for Australian and Torres Strait Islander, for anyone who doesn't know that. I've also read 89 books with chronic illness or disability representation. The other thing that I'm also tracking is how many books by Australian authors, and that's just of interest to me because I am Australian and I would like to make sure that I'm also prioritizing Australian authors, and I've read 295 books by Australian authors this year. Admittedly, a lot of that is coming from the kids books space because I read very heavily in the Australian children's literature space, but I am increasing in the romance space as well. Unsurprisingly, my most read genre at 279 books is romance, and then underneath that, the top 3 subgenres under romance are contemporary romance sitting at 112 titles, hockey romance sitting at 53, and paranormal romance, which is sitting at 52. And also this year, because I am trying to make sure that I'm utilizing my Kindle Unlimited subscription as well as my local library system, I'm also tracking how much I'm saving by reading books through Kindle Unlimited and also through Libby. So in terms of Kindle Unlimited, the way that this works out is that I track the books and how much it would cost to purchase the ebook because I'm reading the ebook. So the way that I do this is each month is I total up the total cost of all of the ebooks that I read minus the subscription cost for Kindle Unlimited, which is $13.99, I think, for me. And just another misreading of numbers, I have saved $446.18 through Kindle Unlimited. And then with my Libby, which I primarily use for audiobooks. So what I do is I take the full audiobook price total and add all of that up. I have saved $1,163.50, which is a significant amount of money. Like, seeing some of those stats is really good because it helps me to then go, okay, well, this is actually useful. I'm reading a lot of books and I'm not needing to pay for them. And sometimes I'm picking up books that I would never have picked up because I just see them in there and go, oh, let's give that a try. So that's all of the stats from my reading spreadsheet. Then we come to the TBR bingo board from hell, which is the bingo board that Leanne from Literary Diversions created. I've been using it all year. I set my own goals for it, and then mid-year I did update sort of some of the challenges, and this is the update for the end of September. So I have a challenge to read 75 audiobooks, and I was sitting on 65 audiobooks at the end of August, and at the end of September I'm sitting on 73, so I'm very close to hitting this again. I have a goal to read 75% of my pre-2024 physical TBR because I want to make sure that the physical books that are coming in, I am actually reading them. That's just my preference. At the end of August, it was sitting at 68.5% and it's now sitting at 71.3%. So I'm getting very close to that goal. I then changed one of my goals to then be to read 80% of my 2024 physical TBR because a lot of books have come in this year and I want this to be really tightly managed. So I was sitting at 75.7%. It's now at 77.7%. So again, we're making inroads there. Although that said, I did receive a stack of books from publishers. So fingers crossed. I have a challenge to read 50 middle grade books, which was sitting at 46 at the end of August, and at the end of September is sitting at 49 books. So I am very close. In fact, technically I think I've hit it because I read the 2 Raina Telgemeier graphic novels. That's exciting. Every month I have the read 80% of my set TBR each month, which is my goal to keep my planned reading, my planned TBR very manageable because I have to read 80% of it. And so I did manage to hit that last month, which was great. I also have a finish and catch up on series goal where I did start out with 12 series that I needed to read and then I upped it to 18 series. So at the end of August, I'd completed 12 series, which was great, but I'd already upped the goal. And so at the end of September, I had completed 15 series. So I'm getting super close to this. I'm very, very excited. I'm so close to the end of this goal. I have a challenge to read 20 nonfiction titles. There was no change at the end of September. I was sitting on 19 books. I'm still sitting on 19 books. I've included a challenge to read 2 non-romance titles every month. I'm not including kids' books in here unless they're non-fiction titles. I did manage to complete that last month. I think I only read 2 non-romance titles. Sometimes that's the way that we roll. And then the last goal is to read 100% of my rare 2023 books. At the end of August, I was sitting on 92.8%. I'm currently sitting on 96.4% read. I only have 3 books left to read. So I'm super close, and 2 of those books I'm planning on reading in October. So those are my third quarter reading stats for you. Hopefully those people who are interested in this sort of thing found it really interesting. I don't talk about favorite books and things like that in these videos because that will be video content for the end of the year. As I've said previously, I track everything in my reading spreadsheet. I do have a video of it, and if you are interested in it, you can make a copy of the reading spreadsheet for yourself and modify and update it as you see fit. Otherwise, that's it for me. I don't have any really big goals for the end of the year except to finish some of the TBR bingo board from hell prompts. Everything else will just kind of be mood reading and just seeing where I fall. And then at the end of the year, I will do a 4th quarter complete reading stats kind of video for you. If you have any comments or questions, feel free to leave them down below. I hope that wherever you are in the world, you're staying safe and healthy, and I'll see you in my next video. Thank you so much for watching. Bye everyone.